Friends, I'm talking about horror movies again. Today we continue the beauty horror series Soul Girl. I used to think the walkers in every horror movie are villains. But after watching this movie, I even feel a little sorry for this walker. Let's not talk much nonsense. Please follow my explanation and savor it slowly. The story begins. The family is celebrating Christmas. But I don't know what's wrong. The husband starts arguing with his wife. He also pushed his wife down with force, and Walker was scared. So she ran to the room and locked the door. Since Walker never opened the door, her father took a stick and was about to break it open. But just then, Walker just opened the door and came out. The father smashed his daughter to death with a stick. The screen turned. Walker's father held a grand funeral for Walker. But the next morning, Walker woke up in her room. And her body has also grown into a decade. Since she could no longer wear her childhood clothes, Walker casually donned a short sleeve and went into a wood. At the same time, the young man walking here met her. The young man asked her why she was so dressed. The boy took off his big padded jacket and gave it to Walker to wear. But this guy is not a nice guy. He tricked Walker into taking her to the hospital, and he drove it straight to his house. He also said that the air conditioner in his house works well, and he made Walker a cup of tea. Then he took another fleece sweater, and he offered to replace Walker, and Walker didn't say no. And she very cooperatively got him to take his clothes off. The young man couldn't help but touch it. And then Walker suddenly grabbed his hand, pushed him onto the sofa next to him, and Walker danced. The boy thought it was flirting with him, but just then, Walker suddenly took out the iron spoon from the cup and stuck it in his throat. After she finished, she drank a mouthful of tomato juice with enjoyment on her face. After the police received the report and came to the young man's house, but they couldn't find any clues to the murderer. The only thing found at the scene was a little girl's DNA. But that little girl was pronounced dead a few days ago. This confused the police. The other side. Walker started looking for targets on the street again. This time she was eyeing an office worker man, but after she followed for a while, someone from behind stopped her. Jack asked her why she was so dressed. He also took the initiative to invite her to sit in the house. This is exactly the same as that young man. Walker saw that the office worker man had been lost, so she simply targeted this Jack. Jack owns a movie theater. And he was a better man than that young man. After he got Walker a dress, he didn't offer to replace Walker, but avoided it all like a gentleman. Maybe Jack still doesn't have the guts. Walker had Jack bring her into the house on purpose. But after making Walker a cup of tea, Jack said that he has to go to work tomorrow and go to bed first. Since Walker couldn't find a reason to kill Jack, she went out and found the man who worked in the office. The man still wants to date Walker after washing the car, but after the car leaves the car wash, the man was slashed to the throat and died, and the police were also unable to find a suspect. The police only found the little girl's DNA in the car. Soon, it was night. When Walker passed a house, she found a family of 3 eating dinner inside. He lived a very happy life, and she wanted to live like a boy. And on the other side, Jack found Walker sitting in front of the cinema. He asked Walker where he had been last night, but Walker didn't answer. She asked Jack a question. She said that if you live forever like a ghost, or live like a human only one day, she asked Jack what he would do. Jack chose the latter without hesitation. He said that if it was like a ghost, he can't take care of his favorite movie theater. He couldn't even sit here and talk to her. Turns out Walker was knocked to death by her dad. Her soul went to hell. Death told her to choose one of 2 options. Walker chose to live like a ghost forever. Because one night, Walker discovered that his father had come home with 3 friends and several women, concealing his mother's knowledge. Something unspeakable happened to them. Afterwards, her father asked Walker not to tell his mother. After this incident, Walker decided in his heart to kill all the bad guys in the world. So she chose to be a ghost. Then Jack asked her what to do tonight. Walker says no. Jack took Walker to a friend's birthday party, and then Jack got drunk. But Walker hadn't finished his drink, so she sent Jack home. Walker was alone in a tavern again. Just then, a burly man walked over. Walker remembers him as the guy her dad called to the house for a party. Then the strong man said to Walker obscenely, "How much does it cost to go with him?" Walker just laughed and said nothing. The burly man took Walker to the hotel. They had just entered the house. The strong man took off his clothes in a hurry. He also put his cell phone by the bedside and said he wanted to record his life. Then Walker voluntarily pushed the strong man onto the bed. Does the strong man still think that girls are so wild now? The next second, an iron spoon stabbed into his throat. While Walker was sucking on the tomato juice, the door was suddenly opened. And one of the janitors saw this. Walker just chased it out. The cleaners also fled quickly. Just after passing a steep slope, Walker suddenly rushed over and stabbed him with an iron spoon, and then the janitor dies. Walker dragged the body into a haystack. But the next morning, the police still found the body. Now Jack was taking Walker to a wrestling match. Jack said his father would come later. He went to say hello to his friends first. Then he took out a photo of his father with his phone. His name is Walker. If you see his dad, wave your hand. And then Jack left. But when Walker looked at the phone, it turns out that the person in the photo is the cleaner she killed last night. Walker panicked. And the police also called at this time. The police told Jack that his father had been murdered. Walker was so penitent. She actually killed the father of her beloved, so Walker returned to the other world again. She begged death to let her choose again. She wanted to be reborn as a human. Even an hour is enough. Then Death agreed to Walker's request. And Walker wakes up in his room again. She went down the stairs. She found herself on Christmas Day. Then his father pushed his mother to the ground. The young Walker ducked into the room in fright. Just as my father was about to hit the club, and Walker, who was growing up, grabbed the club. And Walker looked at himself as a child. She pushed her father into the room. Soon, sounds of fighting could be heard from inside. When Walker, as a child, opened the door and ran in to check, she saw Walker make a gesture of silence. And Walker's fingers were covered in blood. When little Walker leaned down to look, she found out that her father had been beaten to death. And what was supposed to be Walker's funeral turned out to be her father's funeral. At the end of the story, the young man walked the dog home as usual. Jack closed the movie theater to end the day. A working man washes his car in a car wash. The strong man also returned to the hotel alone and prepared to sleep. It's as if this never happened. Only the dead man became Walker's father, so the movie ends.